on about it until he told me that's not what he was talking.
We're getting ready. We are recording.
So are we recording? Hold on. Are we recording and going live?
Yeah, they're always recording, but if it kicks us off again, we're not go live and record it.
So are we going to restart if it kicks us off or keep rolling?
Yeah.
Okay, restart.
All right, hold on for a second. Let me give him back my phone. Hey, Ron.
You just said you're recording, so if it kicks us off, we're just going to keep going, right?
It will end the recording. No, it'll keep the recording.
So that's what's the point of the recording if it's going to kick us off anyway?
It'll keep the recording.
So then just keep going. Let's go.
Did y'all delete the other ones? Still Super Bowl champs?
I just did.
In the
okay,
business,
because I
they
see
call
it in
that
there.
a look live.
Hey, Ron. Here you go. Thank you, sir. Hold on.
Oh, we're not even.
He said he can't get on Xfinity. Hold on. God saying he can't get in.
Are you guys on?
The internet.
No, they're not on Wi-Fi.
We're going to record the show either way, so we about to go live and run it through, and maybe we're live, or maybe we just share it after we record.
All right.
If you're plugged in, you should be all right.
All right, whatever.
You said it's
The
not?
whole area.
The show must go on, as they say.
All right.
I can get in on everything else, but
Alright, we're going back live.
Them doors you see, there they go for me. I bring them things, I call the plug.
Welcome back to Trust the Process Live. Thank you for joining us here the day after the Super Bowl, and Nick Foles is still the last quarterback to throw a touchdown in the Super Bowl after that snore fest last night. Let's get right into it. What was your guys' takes of that game?
Yeah, I mean, listen,
Super energetic.
watching paint dry would have been more exciting than watching that game. It was the waste of 3 hours. The commercials weren't really good, minus the one with the Legends, which I liked, and the Game of Thrones one with the Dragon, because I'm a Game of Thrones fanatic. Outside of that, it was nothing to watch. I mean, Brady looked like a 40-something-year-old quarterback, and he looked like he lost a lot of what's made him great. And the defense, people say, oh, it was a defensive battle. No, it was the offense couldn't move the ball. Goff looked terrible. He was missing throws left and right. Brady was missing guys throwing at people's feet and overthrowing. The game just did not look very good to me at all.
No, it was pathetic. The only other one I was trying to think of ones that we saw, because I was looking back through scores.
Yeah.
And Super Bowl 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, like they had no scoring from one side. All those, the losing teams all scored 6 or 7 points in those games. The only one I can remember that was this bad was Super Bowl 48, Broncos, Seahawks.
Right.
The Seahawks jumped on Peyton right away and just blew the doors off them. But at that time, like Peyton Manning was so good and they could score so quickly that I really believed that they were going to come back.
People watched that game well into the third quarter.
So I'm still watching like, yeah, they're going to come back. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine.
It's going to be a
game.
game.
And it did not go fine. It was bad. I haven't bet on the game since then, and I didn't bet last night, and I would have won because I was sure the Patriots are going to cover. Like, to me, there was no way that Jared Goff was going to beat a Bill Belichick defense and that anybody was going to be able to stop Tom Brady. Now, Brady did get held down, but I wasn't wrong about Goff.
Keyword, Bill Belichick defense. I'm going to come back to that.
And I don't care. These regular season numbers are great. People could think Goff's like anywhere on Wentz's level. He's not. No. And you know my current feelings.
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen Wentz play. I haven't seen Wentz play in a playoff game. I don't know what his playoff numbers are.
I'll tell you what, they'll be better than Jared Goff's because he's not a very good quarterback.
We'll see.
So Brady did not look good, and yet still they were able to win that game, which begs the question, when will this dynasty end? When will the Patriots dynasty end?
I don't think that Brady looked bad. He just didn't look like Brady, okay?
He looked terrible.
Played well. The first interception was one of the worst passes I've ever seen.
Exactly. He looked terrible.
But after that, he settled in. He scores he drives down the field on a game-winning drive in the fourth like he always does, right? He doesn't get the touchdown, but he gets them all the way down there. The Edelman throw, the Gronk throw, listen.
They started the game with 8 straight possessions without giving up a first down on defense.
I'm with you.
You give me the ball 8 straight times. I got to at some point
there
find
was
ways to
something
move the
going
ball.
on with both offenses. It was
Listen,
so bad.
here's what I'm going to say. And people will argue it and they'll say whatever. Julian Edelman was the difference maker on offense. Because Marcus Peters, as great as he was, looked bad. Nickel Robbie Coleman looked bad. Like, whoever they put on him looked bad. They tried to bracket cover him. It looked bad. It didn't matter. Edelman was getting open wherever. It's like you know what they're going to do, and people still can't stop it.
Chiefs, the same thing happened. Like I don't.
They know it's coming.
Look, he must be that quick, and he must have
quick.
such good rapport with Brady that they know where each other. They can
switches.
both look at the same thing on defense and know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
And when you have that, all you need to do is win by a step, and you can win by a step. And that got me to something that we were talking about. Do you think that Edelman's a Hall of Famer?
Well, I think that Edelman is a Hall of Famer, and here's why. So he's second in postseason catches, only behind the greatest Jerry Rice.
Yeah.
But to have a
Catches
Super
and
Bowl
yards.
and yards, but to have a Super Bowl MVP under his belt, 3-time Super Bowl winner, that matters. That's one. And to be pretty much the number one every time that they've won. I mean, they had Josh Gordon most of the year. He clearly would have been the number one, but he smoked himself out of a playoff and a Super Bowl appearance. That's his fault.
Do you think Adams Hall of Famer?
Smoke weed every day.
Facts. Every day.
It's tough. I think you could possibly put him in the Hall of Fame because of what he's done in the postseason. And you look at other people who are like him in the Hall of Fame. Michael Irvin on those Dallas teams wasn't maybe the best statistically, but because he was on those teams and so successful, he made it in.
Sure.
Winning Super Bowls matter.
It's tough because he's only got 30 career touchdowns in the regular season. What I will say, though, is if you're one of the people that think Eli Manning belongs in the Hall of Fame, and I don't personally, I think Edelman's got a better claim than Eli.
Right.
But if you think Eli should be in because he did well in the playoffs, like you have to think Edelman should be in.
And here's another example. Think Terry Bradshaw, whose stats are god-awful, but got him because he played behind a great defense and won a bunch of Super Bowls. Right.
Different era.
Same mindset.
Especially with
Same mindset.
quarterback, too. The rings really, really matter. But
I don't think it changes his legacy, though.
I'll
And
tell you
I don't
what,
think it changes Brady's
you said
legacy at
Edelman
all.
was the most impressive. I would maybe go with Stephon Gilmore. I thought maybe he was the best
Defense,
player
yeah,
in the field.
yeah.
He got the interception. He had a couple pass
Couple
breakups.
pass
He was
breakups.
really
Yeah,
dominant.
he was all over the field.
And the run game, the Patriots, they sealed the deal.
Sony
The
Michel.
O-line, they let up one sack, and they ran 30 times for 156, and they run the clock out. Like, if they're on their 4-yard line, if they get stuffed 3 and out, and the Rams have 2 minutes
Short
left.
field, they can turn it around.
And a short field, they
Sony
can
Michel
score.
ran all over those boys, man, right up the line. And it was crazy because Bill Belichick's plan was to let them over-pursue and then run right past them. You saw it multiple
So you
times.
talk about planning and coaching. Sean McVay, the sweetheart of pretty much every NFL fan. Oh, he's so young, he's so smart. Did he get exposed?
He got out coached, I think, but that's something that you find when you go up against Bill Belichick. He tends to out coach most of the coaches he plays. But the big piece in this is I don't think it was this that gave him the blueprint. I think it was when they played the Chicago Bears and Matt Nagy early in the season, about the midpoint of the season, and that defense dominated them and showed you how to make Jared Goff uncomfortable, how to stop Todd Gurley. And Todd Gurley, who literally was ineffective all
I don't
game,
know why they
that
won't come
kills
out and
them
say he's
too.
hurt. He's hurt.
He's hurt.
If he's
can't
not
play.
hurt,
Well,
what
because
the
he's
hell
not on
is
it.
he doing
I
touching
don't
the
know.
ball
I don't
10
know.
times?
I don't know. What was the point?
15 times total
What
over
was the
2
point?
weeks?
What was the point? What was the point? He wanted to play, obviously.
The guy was
Well,
the third in the MVP voting.
The reason they won't come out and say it is because of the shady stuff they do with the injury report. I think if he's not listed on there, you
Maybe.
can get into trouble.
You're probably right.
And it's the
Yeah.
same thing with Carson Wentz, why they're
Very-
so
very
shady
fair.
with
Because that
the
is some
injury, yeah.
bullshit. He has to
He
be
touches
hurt.
the ball 25 times a game minimum, and if you give him the ball 25 times, he's bound to break 1 or 2 runs to change the
But
whole
with
game.
McVay, I get such a kick out of it. Doug Peterson, all he does is beat these guys to get named Coach of the Year and the next hot thing. And Nagy and McVay, they're good coaches. You know what? Neither one of them is Doug Peterson. And Doug Peterson never coached an offense that put up 3 points in a Super Bowl. You know what he did? He put up 41 on the same defense that you saw dominate that
Not
game.
quite the same
yesterday.
defense. They didn't have Stephon
41
Gilmore.
Super Bowl champion Doug Peterson. Sean McVay can suck it. Okay.
Speaking of great coaches, tell me which statement is more true. Bill Belichick is the greatest coach of all time, or Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all
Tom
time?
Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. And listen, Belichick's also the greatest coach of all time. But you asked me what's more true is that Tom Brady's the best quarterback. You know why? Because no matter who the coach was on those sidelines, Tom Brady would still have, I'd say, minimum 4 rings. Whereas Belichick, if Belichick's the coach of a team that Ryan Tannehill was the quarterback for 17 years,
Give me Aaron Rodgers.
maybe he's
Give me
good
Aaron
enough.
Rodgers.
Maybe he's great enough to win 1.
Give him somebody
Not Aaron
comparable.
Rodgers.
Oh,
I'm saying,
oh.
but
Give him Drew Brees.
Brady can win with whoever's around him. Brady has won. There's the entire team is new from when he started to when he finished. Belichick has never won without his quarterback, which is Tom Brady.
Disagree.
Like if Belichick had Tannehill or like some replacement level quarterback, I'm not sure he's able to win a
But
Super
who's
Bowl.
replacement level? And here's where I'm gonna counter that argument. You give him Matt Castle. You give him Jacoby Brissett. You give
know
him,
what? You had
hold on,
Matt
hold on,
Castle, who
hold
went
on,
11-5,
hold on,
but he
hold
didn't
on.
win a Super Bowl.
Let me finish though. You give him these guys. He
coach.
still wins games.
Yes, he's
games that
great.
people expect him to lose. He still wins games. Did he win a
Brady
playoffs?
wins
No.
rings.
But here's the counter to that. And if you go back and you look at every Super Bowl that the Patriots have won and look at every Super Bowl that they've lost, it was the defense that made a key critical play or didn't make a key critical play. Versus the Giants, the helmet catch, letting Plaxico get the corner end zone catch. You look at the wins that they had. Seattle, where Malcolm Butler makes the interception, they win. You look yesterday, they literally shut down the second highest rated offense in the NFL. He's a defensive coach. That's what he does. He has a bend but don't break
phenomenal.
mentality.
No doubt.
And that's the difference. And the Super Bowls that Brady has won, it's the difference of the defense playing up. Look at the Eagles. They gave up a ton of yards, couldn't get a play. That's why they lost. If the Patriots defense makes one play that the Eagles made,
still lose.
No, stop it. Stop it. They do not. They were going back and forth the
And you
whole
know
game.
what? I refuse to accept this as a Super Bowl. Eagles are still
Well,
champions right now.
God.
We're still
We're not
champions.
gonna do that.
And you know what? Tell me, how different would this game have been if the Eagles were in it?
It wouldn't have been boring out of my
We agree.
mind. Boring, like I fell asleep in the middle of the game.
I did
my
too.
father was over. I had like a little party, there's 12 people. My dad was like, said to my mom and my grandfather, "Let's get it. I can't watch this." They left in the fourth quarter, and I couldn't
there's
even
nothing
say,
to watch.
"What am I going to say?" Dad, no, stay. This is super exciting. No, it sucked.
Couldn't. I agree. You know what? The one thing I'll say is definitely would have been a lot more points. We saw that last year.
Foles low was 14. And they only scored 13.
Listen, somebody said that.
we
Somebody
win.
said that the Rams Twitter, the old guys, Marshall Falk and Kurt Warner said, "No way, we would have scored only 3 points."
Yeah, well.
It's bad.
My
with
God,
their
that
current
looked bad.
forms now, forget back in the day.
God, that looks bad.
You know, this is a fun step before we move on. Only one other team ever scored 3 points in a Super Bowl. It was the 1971 Miami Dolphins.
Miami
Lost
Dolphins.
21-3.
Yep.
Next season, they went
Came back and won.
undefeated. And
Came
they're
back
the
and
only
won
team
the
to ever
Super
go
Bowl.
undefeated. So, Sean McVay, there you go, buddy. Maybe
There's
you
your
don't
silver
get it wrong.
lining.
Maybe you knew what you're doing, and you're playing the long game so you can be the Dolphins next year. Maybe that's what it is.
All right,
Or
so-
you just suck and Jared Goff sucks, whatever.
Watch out, Sean McVay. Perry's after you. But before we jump into the second half of the show, here's a word from our sponsor, Project Dad.
Project Dad program is looking to work with non-custodial fathers 18 years and older with children under the age of 16 years old. Workshops include responsible parenting, healthy relationships, economic stability, and employer matching to help with finding a job. Project Dad believes it is important to increase the time spent between fathers and their children. Project Dad enjoys working with fathers to help increase their commitment to fatherhood. If you know any non-custodial fathers with children under the age of 16 years old that could benefit from Project Dad, please have them call today.
So that was a word from Project Dad. And if you are a non-custodial father or know anyone who could benefit from these services, make sure that you contact Project Dad at 215-235-2340. But so now before we get into our next segment, the Flyers, they've been on a hot streak. I know neither of you have realized that. They're on right now. And
No, but I do think you should share this show.
absolutely share the show if you want to find out more about the Flyers.
Flyers fans,
because
make sure you
we
share.
have our segment that we're bringing back, Minute with Max. Max
baby.
Coolish, what do we got?
My man Maximus.
Yeah.
Jake, thanks so much, buddy. Good talking to you. So, as I'm sure you guys all know by now, the Flyers, led by their rookie goalie sensation Carter Hart, winners of 7 straight, going for their 8th straight tonight at home against the Vancouver Canucks. Out of these last 8 games, including tonight, 6 of their opponents have been playoff teams. We have brought the gap to 7 points behind the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference playoff race. And if we win tonight, which we're looking good, up 2-1 after 2 periods, the next 2 games should be a little bit easier. Bad teams at home. Could be going to Pittsburgh in a week and a half with a 10-game winning streak on our boots. I don't know, guys. I like my chances in Pittsburgh with a 10-game winning streak. I don't know about you guys, but Perry, I know that you and ET have both been complaining for as long as I've known you that the Flyers need a goalie. They have one. I promise you, go watch this kid. He makes some mistakes, but he is electric. He's going to be a stud. I promise you.
Hey, listen, as long as they don't mess
for
it
them.
up, you know, they can probably lock this kid a 20-year contract and be great.
should.
Like, you know, why not?
They
That's
do
doing
that in
hockey.
hockey. They
Yeah,
do,
they
like,
give guys like 15-year
15-year
contracts.
I bought a
At like
Jeff Carter.
23.
I bought a Jeff Carter jersey after he signed an 11-year contract, figuring it's safe.
Yeah,
he was
go
traded
on.
like a
Bye-bye.
week later.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Thanks, Max. That was great. And the Flyers, as we said, on right now. Go check that out after this show. But now we're going to jump right into our next segment called Podium Picks. Give us your first, second, and third. Who makes it on the podium for the selected question? And the first question is, what are the top 3 potential Sixers trades as the deadline approaches?
Okay, my first one, I'm going to go with I feel like this one actually makes the most sense for both teams. I would offer the Pelicans, who obviously now at this point are more benefited by losing games. Nikola Mirotic just on his last year of a 1-year deal, right? Or 2-year deal, whatever. But he's on his last year. He's making like $12 million. Give them Muscala and Patton. You get close enough to make the money work. They save about $5 million in salary, so their owner will like that. We give them like a 2nd-round pick for their trouble. We get Mirotic, who is a better version of Muscala. So that'll be my number 1. I got a few more for you if you don't have any.
All right, so mine is going to be Markelle Fultz to the Phoenix Suns for Josh Jackson. Gives you an athletic wing who can come in and defend
Why
the
are
perimeter.
they doing that, though? Josh Jackson can
The
play
Phoenix
a little bit.
Suns aren't winning anything, and
No,
Josh Jackson,
but they're the same age.
But TJ Warren is the starter. Josh Jackson's playing behind him.
And
They
have
need
Mikal Bridges.
a
Okay.
starting point
And they
guard.
have,
And they
they
have
just
Mikal
traded-
Bridges.
They just traded for the
Correct.
dude with the cool hair. What's his name? Oubre, Kelly Oubre.
Kelly Oubre
I
from
like
the
Kelly
Wizards.
Oubre. I
So
don't know if the
it
Wizards
makes sense to offload Josh Jackson. You got some value for him. They don't have a spot for him in the rotation. He's not going to play over Booker. And they need a point guard because Booker really should be a 2. So you get Markelle Fultz, a guy who can run and drive, and you got Booker out there on the wing shooting threes. It fits their scheme. They get rid of Josh Jackson, a guy who hasn't reached their expectations. Makes sense for both sides. Gives them a change of scenery in a city that doesn't really care about basketball.
My number 2, I will give you out of my 3. I'll stick with Fultz, okay? But I would go to Atlanta, where I think it makes a little more sense. I think him and Trey could probably go well together if he ever learns how to shoot, which he won't. He's never going to play another NBA game. But I would trade him for Taurean Prince, Dwayne Dedmon, and Vince Carter. You add to the rotation. You get 3 rotation players. Dedmon plays the backup minutes to Joe. Taurean Prince and Vince come off the bench at the wing. And for Atlanta, it makes sense because Vince is gone into this year, Dedmon's gone into this year, and you basically swap Taurean Prince for Fultz. You take a shot on a guy who was the number 1 pick. Taurean Prince is limited at what he is. He's a 12-5 guy.
You know what? That's not actually a bad deal, and it makes sense for the Hawks because they're trying to lose as many games possible to get Zion. So, yeah,
And
it
actually,
gives them
they're
another
winning a
hope.
few recently because Trey's playing well.
Yeah, Trey's playing good basketball all of a sudden.
So before we move on, just want
I
to get
had more. I have another.
Well,
bill.
in lieu of your third, here's what I want from you. Where's Anthony Davis going to end up? He just came out with this short list of teams.
I
LA.
feel like he ends up in LA because I think this whole short list of teams was bullshit. I think his agent put that out there because they don't want him to sit. And if they say to all these teams, hey, he might sign with you if he's traded there, that'll help facilitate a trade, and then he can do whatever the hell he wants anyway.
Right.
So he can leave after a year and a half and go play in LA.
Like
and
Kawhi's gonna do.
if he says nothing and they don't trade him because LA won't offer what they want because he's like, no, I'm only going to LA, I'm only going to LA. They know they have the leverage.
And they wait.
And they wait. They're not going to play him. He's going to sit the whole year. They can't play Anthony Davis in New Orleans.
Right.
It doesn't help them because he'll get
Win
hurt
games or
and
he'll
you
get
lose value, or you win games, which hurts you. So he will not play another game for the Pelicans.
Agreed.
So for him, he's like, please trade me. I don't want to sit out for the rest of the year. There's no way he ends up anywhere but LA. No matter where he ends up this year, he's playing in LA long
I
term.
remember a week ago I said I can't wait for him to come to LA. Listen, LeBron is already saying, listen, Rich, you're my guy.
Yeah.
Figure out a way to make this happen. Play whatever politics you got to play. Rich Paul's been doing this for a little while now. He's gotten pretty good at it. And the thing is, the Pelicans know that despite the fact that they kind of hold the leverage right now, even waiting for Boston, Boston's got a whole host of problems because Anthony Davis' father came flat out and said, I hate Boston, I do not want to play there. Kyrie wants to leave, and now they got all these guys, and they got Gordon Hayward makes $128 million sitting on the bench. Don't trade me.
To LA. Don't, because they were going to wait to hear Boston's offer, and he's like, listen, I'm not going to Boston, so you're not going to trade for me.
You know what? Kevin Garnett said something similar. He ended up going to Boston anyway and winning
I think he said
a
he was not going
championship.
anywhere, though, not just the Boston.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, it's a staring match, a blink contest right now. Whoever blinks first, and it will be LA, they need to trade. If they offer this full package of Ingram, Kuzma, Lonzo, and a pick, they're going to take that. How can they not take that?
Here's the thing. When people
I
look
bet
at
they're trying to avoid Ingram right now.
Well, here's the
They're gonna
thing.
take
Here's the thing. If you looked up at the original package, which included Rondo, Beasley,
That's just
Stevenson.
salary
No. Hold on. There was a reason why. Over the weekend, there was an altercation between Luke Walton and the 3 aforementioned players.
Yeah.
And they had a shouting match with him.
Yeah.
So for culture purposes, they want to get rid of guys that are considered
salary
bad
for
apples.
all.
But it's really a salary move. You move these guys onto a place where they're all going to be somewhere else next season anyway. It makes sense.
Yeah.
I think they don't want to trade Ingram, but look, Anthony Davis is a generational talent. You give him Ingram. He's a 20-point-per-game guy, and that's great, but you got LeBron.
So transitioning now back into football, looking back on the Eagles season, give me your top 3 breakout players from last year.
Clearly, Crevan LeBlanc was, he's locked up a spot.
You can pretty much
starting
put
for
the
this
entire
team next year.
defensive backfield. They all played
No
pretty
question,
well.
but he came on and he filled such a huge need for us. He was our Patrick Robinson whatever this year, and he did it in the middle of the year out of nowhere. So I'll go him number 1 again. You go.
Okay, so if we're talking for the Eagles as a breakout guy, I'm going to say Carson Wentz, and here's the reason why.
Breakout this year?
Yeah.
This past year?
Yeah, I'm going to say why. Hold on. So people didn't know how he was going to come back and play off the knee. Most guys who come off the knee injury typically take 2 years to get back. If you look at his numbers are actually better than last year's, and he was an MVP candidate. Now, granted, the only reason he didn't look as good is because everybody else played better, like Mahomes and some of the other guys. But if you look at how he played overall, coming off of a knee injury, an ACL, and coming back, rushing back because it happened late in the season with how he played, and I'm not necessarily talking breakout per se, but I'm talking in terms of him coming back and not looking like he took a step back and regressed. I get that he stared down Ertz a lot, but I think that's more so because they said, listen, we don't want you to take any risk and hurt that knee. Stand in the pocket more, which forced him to hold the ball longer and not play Carson Wentz football.
Weird answer. Okay, I'll take Isaac Samalu. I think
Really?
he took over that left guard spot when he was healthy. He needs to stay on the field more. But Wisniewski, I thought was really good when we won the Super Bowl. Samalu came in, and I thought even improved the O-line. So I'm saying breakout player, because the other easy one to say would be Michael Bennett, but like he's not breakout because he was already on his way to being in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
But he was phenomenal for us. But I'll go Samalu because he was breakout.
I got one for you. How about Mr. Zach Ertz, who was near top of the NFL in receptions for the season? I mean, he set records, clearly broke franchise records, had a monster year. Now, a lot of that was, Wentz dropped back 20 times and threw at him 18 of them. But, nonetheless, he still caught the ball and was able to make plays.
My number 3 guy was Cameron Johnson, punter. Killed it.
Yeah. Legatron.
Filled in that Donnie Jones.
So last one we have here for Podium Picks, your top 3 destinations for Nick Foles.
Well, not the Giants or the Redskins. You cannot trade him in the division.
That's where he's
can't
gonna
let him go there. We have to franchise tag him and trade him. I don't understand why anyone thinks we won't. We definitely will. We're not stupid. Howie Roseman's a smart Jew, okay? We know what we're doing. We're going to trade him to Miami. Jacksonville is the likely destination. Or the third team, I would say, I could see maybe a Cincinnati type, because Dalton's just never going to get it done there. Right. So, but I think one of those first two, Jacksonville or Miami.
So if I'm Miami, I don't want him because we're trying to get younger. And, at 30 years old, a guy like him is going to win now. We're not quite win now.
Brady's 42, bro.
He's
got 12 years left.
Stop it. Listen, I think Jacksonville makes the most sense for him, but to be honest with you, the New York Giants is the team that he'll probably – listen, say what you want. If they offer –
we will not let him go to the Giants. We control his rights. We're not letting him go to the Giants. There's no way.
If they offer you a first-round pick.
No way. And do you think he would ruin that clout that he has in this city? He is
a Philly
legend forever.
It's not his call.
No way he's playing for the Giants.
It's not his call. How he can trade him wherever. How he can trade him wherever he wants to.
I personally don't think Howie is going to send him to a division, especially after he came in and clearly showed that he can play clutch football when it matters, which is all New York needs out of their quarterback. Eli Manning went on a similar run.
Now, I'll give you an honest answer. The Redskins actually, the dumpster fire that they are, it doesn't hurt you to trade him there, and here's why. You put Nick Foles in the Redskins, they're still not a good team because they've got holes all over the place. Who the hell are their receivers? A defense. They've got no wide receivers. Their running game is up and down. I mean, they got a 40-year-old Adrian Peterson out there.
They have guys coming back who should hopefully be good.
You hope that comes back and plays good. But their O-line is still not very good. Trading him to the Redskins, you trade him there, you let him go play. He's throwing his skills. It's kind of like McNabb when he went to when he went there. It's like, it doesn't scare you.
There. I'm not talking about
Okay.
All right. Well, Sean, what do you have for us from Facebook land? What are the folks saying?
What's going on tonight, Jake? First off, we have what have we learned about the Sixers during this tough road stretch?
Well, I'll tell you what I learned. It's not all road, because I'm saying this whole stretch of 13, what will be 13 games, starting with that Timberwolves game, ending with the Boston game. 13 stretch where you play the easiest 2 games, which are not easy, are Minnesota and Sacramento. Right now we're 6-3 on it. We still have Toronto at home, Denver at home, LA at home, Boston at home. I think all 3 of those are at home. I mean, all 4 of those are at home. I think we end up 10-3, probably 9-4 at worst on this 13-game stretch. So what I would say is I'm very impressed, and everybody who talked about the demise of the Sixers because Jimmy Butler, we can't handle it, shut up. You're all stupid. All you want to make is a story. You can't get it. We're the shit. Bye.
So I'm not going to go and say 10-3. I think that they'll drop a couple of these games.
Couple?
Yeah.
Which ones?
Well, Toronto for sure.
Toronto at home tomorrow night for sure?
I like them to lose to Toronto.
Okay, we'll see. Can we bet on that too?
Kawhi's going to play.
I don't remember getting my 50 for the Eagles-Bears game.
We talked about that.
We talked about that. Double or nothing on Sixers-Raptors?
Double or nothing on Sixers-Raptors.
There it is. You guys got to make sure the ET doesn't play out of
Next week on this show, you are handing me a $100 bill.
That's fine.
I don't care. Don't tell me you're Venmoing it. Don't tell me you're taking dinner. I want a crisp, clean $100 bill directly from your bank account.
Or you'll give me a handshake and say 0. We're even.
All right, Sean, do you have anything else?
Yeah, Jake, I'm calling my own number on this one. Warriors versus Pats. Which dynasty ends first?
Patriots. The Warriors are going to be good for at least 2 more seasons, and here's why. They absolutely win the title this year. The only thing that matters is whether or not they re-sign Durant.
Great question.
If they re-sign Durant, then they're going to win another 1 to 2 titles. It doesn't matter who else they get in the offseason because they just need fill-in players as long as they keep the core together.
Definitely depends on Durant.
Right. Yeah.
Let's assume Durant leaves. Then which dynasty ends first?
It depends on where he goes. Because he's
Knicks, whatever, doesn't matter.
okay. If he goes to the Knicks, then I mean they can still win the West. even
That's what
without
I'm
him.
saying. So which
They can
one
still
is
win,
first?
They can still win. I still think that they're an odds favorite to win the championship because they won without him.
Yeah, I agree. I'll say Patriots.
Patriots in first.
Patriots.
Because they don't
That's
have
a good
they don't have
question.
a 42-year-old on their team, so that helps.
Real quick, because we didn't talk about on the Sixers buyout candidates, because it's going to happen
Yep.
quickly.
Wesley
Garrett
Matthews.
Temple, Wesley Matthews, Dwayne Dedmon, Robin Lopez.
Trevor
We're going
Ariza.
to get players. Think about
Trevor
this
Ariza.
team is not done yet. They're not going to.
Absolutely not. And John Johnson actually reported the Sixers are going to imminently make a deal after not bringing back Corey Brewer for the entire
Yeah,
season.
just
but,
like Bryce Harper's going to imminently sign a contract.
so
Baseball's
we're on to
stupid.
tap outs now. Perry, you want to talk about baseball being stupid? What do you
Sure,
have for
I will
us?
talk about baseball being stupid. I'll talk about more stupid people as part of my tap out because
There we go.
the world needs to be explained to them when they're stupid. So, A, Major League Baseball, you're stupid. You see what the NBA does? They create buzz, they create hype all year round, storylines all year round, and people actually give a shit about that sport because it's fun, it's entertaining, and you know what happens on July 1st when free agency starts? People sign contracts. Bryce Harper and Manny Machado are still free agents. Spring training, pitchers and catchers report in like a
2
week.
weeks.
What are they doing? And now I don't even care. You know what? I don't care. I don't want Bryce Harper to sign with the Phillies. I don't want Machado. I don't want to watch baseball ever again. It is a dying sport. It deserves to die. And who else deserves to die? Maybe not deserves to die, but at least politically. This guy Northam in Virginia, the governor. Like, dude, it's not a good response to say to a picture of you that you weren't sure if it was you in blackface or you in the Ku Klux Klan outfit, or maybe it was just a different picture than you in blackface. Whatever your excuse was, it's a bad excuse. You should resign and save yourself like a little bit of embarrassment because the only person on the planet that can get away with that shit is in the White House, and it's not going to be you, bro.
Kind of hard to follow that tap out. I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head there. So mine is actually a little bit different. So after the Super Bowl, there was a show called The World's Best that came on last night. And I'm not really a big fan of those reality, like, talent shows. But I happened to watch it, and this lady named Mahami Ito literally played the violin with no arm. Like, she had, like, a prosthetic, like, robotic arm made of metal. And it was, like, the most beautiful thing I ever saw. And you think about it, and why is that relevant? Well, far too often people make excuses about different things. Life, work, kids, job, money. We make excuses, but we're all able-bodied people. Here's a woman who literally lost her arm in the prime of her life at 20 years old, still found a way to play something that she loved and get that good at it that she was on a national stage. Congrats to her. I hope she does actually go far and win. But let that be an example to us all. Let's not make excuses for what is, and let's just find ways to just do.
That's wild.
Yep.
She played violin.
Yeah, that was a good one. But I don't really have much. Just want to thank our production team. Went through some walls today trying to get this show ready and up and going. So I just want to give a big shout out and thank you to them. They're great. But that's all that we have here. We're out of time here. So thank you for tuning in to My New Philly, where everything's always new and everything is always Philly.
Man, you don't wanna fuck with them, bro. Oh, you high and they shooting, better get low.
Did the live feed work?